Hello everybody and welcome back to the Crooked Hour. Today we're going to be doing how to bet both ways on 283, the entire main card, going over my picks as well. So this is how to bet both ways on the main card. Let's get into it straight away. Paul Craig versus Johnny Walker. Both people have had a shaky career as of late. You know, Johnny Walker's coming off a big win over Ian Kutalaba. He got the choke in that matchup. Paul Craig, I felt like he didn't look too bad in his last matchup. Like, he definitely lost, but his striking looked like it had improved. And Johnny Walker's ground game, I don't know if it's improved because it's always been good, but he just kind of showed it more. And that's something that he won't be doing in this matchup. Because if you go to the ground with Paul Craig, you're getting your neck snatched up, and it's not good. So we got 6'3" for Paul Craig in height and 6'6" for Johnny Walker. So Johnny Walker is going to have a massive height advantage by 3 inches. We'll have a reach advantage as well. And this is a hard one because I feel like when it's on the feet, Johnny Walker has the advantages. But on the same side, I don't think Paul Craig's stand-up looked too bad in the last matchup. Like, I feel like he put some improvements. I mean, he was landing clean shots. He just doesn't have the power. But if he can put together clean shots into takedowns and then start looking for submissions, that's when Johnny Walker's in danger. But Johnny Walker is such a physically gifted guy. It's just like, will Paul Craig be able to get him down? Because Johnny Walker's so tall, and look at him, he's ripped. Like, he's fucking ripped. So even when he gets him to the ground, Johnny Walker's got so many different options to get back to his feet just because he is so long and so athletically gifted. I just don't know what Paul Craig's going to be able to do down there. But it's Paul Craig. He finds the submissions, and once he finds them, you're done. I mean, the person in the main event here, Jamahal Hill, got submitted by Paul Craig. That's his only loss. Enough said. I think we get it. It's Johnny Walker's stand-up explosiveness, awkwardness against Paul Craig's ground game and mediocre striking. So if you're on Johnny Walker, I'd have Johnny Walker by KO. I feel like he finds that chin eventually if it goes his way. If this fight is going Johnny Walker's way, he finds that chin and puts Paul Craig out. Maybe not with the first shot, but he might hit him with something awkward, like a big swing and hook. Drops Paul Craig and then gets him with ground and pound. But on the same side of that, if you're on Paul Craig, say Johnny Walker does hit him with a big shot, big leap and hook, Paul Craig goes down, Johnny Walker tries to finish, Paul Craig snatches him up in a triangle or just something crazy. Paul Craig by submission is the bet if you're going with Paul Craig. So Johnny Walker KO, Paul Craig by submission. And I got a prop for this one. It is fight does not go the distance, because I think either man is getting finished here, and I think that's the way the fight goes. If it goes to the decision, I'd slightly more hedge it to Johnny Walker just because I feel like he'll be more active on the feet, but I don't see it going to a decision. My pick though, what I think's going to happen, I've got Paul Craig by round 2 sub. I feel like he finds Johnny Walker on the ground at some point and submits him. Anyway, moving on to a women's flyweight matchup between Lauren Murphy and Jéssica Andrade. Got Jéssica Andrade here. I'm just going to say it straight away. And the pick, if you're on Andrade, is Jéssica Andrade by KO. Or if you want to get a little bit deeper, and I'll be playing this, is by first round KO. Another option also for Jéssica Andrade is just to put her in a parlay. I feel like she's a safe hit. But maybe you see something I don't see, you know. I don't see everything. Lauren Murphy, on the other hand, if she wins, just play her money line. Like, she's a big underdog. I think she's paying like $4.70 or something, $3.70. So just play her money line. That's the safest pick. You know, she might be able to scratch this to a decision somehow by clinching and just... I see Jéssica Andrade finishing her in the first round by a KO, headshots against the fence. But yeah, Jéssica Andrade by KO, Lauren Murphy by moneyline. They're the picks. Next up, Gilbert Burns versus Neil Magny. I got Gilbert Burns by inside the distance or Neil Magny by moneyline. Neil Magny's got a height advantage here at 6'3", but Gilbert Burns, he uses his height and his body type well. That's something I really notice about Gilbert Burns, is he uses his body frame to his advantage. Like, it's not like just because he's the shorter fighter, he's going to be disadvantaged, because he finds ways to get in there. And just like he hit that shot on Chimaev, if he hits that shot on Neil Magny, I'm not sure if Neil Magny is going to be still standing. Neil Magny does have a 9-inch reach advantage. Holy shit. He has a 9-inch reach advantage on Gilbert Burns, so that's something to look out for. It's going to be hard for Gilbert Burns to cut into that distance and get this to the ground or find his hooks, because Neil Magny does fight good from a distance. He's got good kicks, good straight punches. He's good at fighting from a distance, and Gilbert Burns is going to have to be the one cutting off that distance, and that automatically puts him at a disadvantage in my eyes. But if Gilbert Burns gets this to the ground, that's when Neil Magny's going to be at a big disadvantage. And on the feet, Gilbert Burns has power. So that's why I've got Gilbert Burns inside the distance, or Neil Magny moneyline, because he's a big underdog. Yeah, he's like paying $4.20 or something like that. Something mad. So just plays moneyline. My pick though, I got Burns by round 2 KO. I think he finds his shot and drops him and finishes it by ground and pound, or potentially finds a submission, but that's just my pick by round 2 KO. But the safe pick is Gilbert Burns inside the distance, just in case he does go for that KO instead. In case he goes for that submission instead of the KO. Next up, the fourth fight between these two, Deiveson Figueiredo versus Brendan Moreno. I'm going Brendan Moreno by decision or money line. Moneyline's probably the safest one, but I could see him scratching out a unanimous decision here. Or Figueiredo by decision, moneyline or moneyline. Like, both exact same bets both ways, moneyline or decision, I'd be putting down. I'd have to double check the odds for decision to see if it's worth putting on. Definitely the safest pick is moneyline, but I mean, if you want that extra bit of profit, might be worth chucking down a decision. I've got Brendan Moreno via decision in this one. I think he's going to get it done by decision, but you never know. You know, Figueiredo's getting old for a flyweight, so. And Brendan Moreno, he looked good against Kai Kara France, so I could just see him scratching out a decision here, because Figueiredo is tough, so yeah. Good fight. Let's see how it goes. And the final fight of the night for the light heavyweight belt, Glover Teixeira versus Jamahal Hill. Glover Teixeira's just old, man. He's old, but he's got good basics to just get it done in every fight. It's hard to believe. But Jamahal Hill, man, he cracks. He's got power. Like, in his last fight, I was saying that Jamahal Hill was just going to get Santos out there in round 1 or round 2, which didn't happen. It was like round 4. So maybe I'm too overconfident in Jamahal Hill. Maybe I think too highly of Jamahal Hill. So just keep that in mind when I give out my pick. But I feel like it's pretty clear to see how this goes. Like, Glover Teixeira, his chin's dusty, but he has good recovery. That's the thing with Glover. Like, he might get dropped, but he can recover from getting dropped quite quickly. I think Jamahal Hill's going to crack him. I think he's going to crack him with a big shot and just KO him. That's my pick. That is my pick straight up. But if you're on the side of Glover, it's by submission. Jamahal Hill's one loss is by submission. I can see if it gets to the ground. Jamahal Hill, unless he's been practicing, which I think he has with Anthony Smith. He's been training a lot of ground game, a lot of takedown defense, a lot of situational stuff. But I think Glover, if he gets him on the ground, Jamahal Hill's going to look a little bit out of place, I feel like. But does he get Jamahal Hill to the ground? As I said, I could just see Jamahal Hill cracking him. And after that fight with Prochazka, I just don't see Glover's chin being the same. Like, I might just be underestimating Glover. Jamahal Hill is going to have a 4-inch reach advantage, which is going to be on his side. The height advantage doesn't really matter too much in my opinion, but that reach advantage is just going to be, it's going to help him crack him. It's going to help him crack him. If this goes to the ground, be scared for Jamahal Hill and be happy for Glover. If this stays on the feet, you got to be itching a little bit for Glover and be like, Jamahal Hill's probably going to find his shot. But you just can't count Glover out. It's a hard one because as much as you can't count Glover out, Jamahal Hill does have power and he's growing. He's still young in his career. He's growing into a better athlete by the day. Not physically because he's fat, but he's growing as like a fighter. He's getting more advanced, more skilled. He's 31. Glover's 43. I don't know. Either way you go in this matchup, there's not a wrong way to go. I don't believe. Like, no matter how you're playing this, there's not a wrong way to go. But if I was betting, Jamahal Hill by KO, Glover by decision are the picks. And my pick is Jamahal Hill by round 2 KO. And that's not me underestimating Glover. You just have to understand if Hill gets it done, it's going to be early. If it goes into round 3 or 4, it's looking like Glover's fight in my opinion. And that's how I see getting it done. Just a quick recap. Johnny Walker by KO, Paul Craig by sub. Also have that fight doesn't go the distance. Jéssica Andrade by round 1 KO or just KO. And Lauren Murphy by moneyline. Gilbert Burns by... what do I have? Gilbert Burns inside the distance. Neil Magny by moneyline. Figueiredo by decision or moneyline. Brendan Moreno by decision or moneyline. And Glover by submission. Jamahal Hill by KO. That's what I got. Anyway, guys, if you enjoyed this video, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know who you got in the main event, in the co-main, in the whole main card. Let me know who you got. Should be a good card. As always, guys, have a good one.